and Jildert.
We're doing a project called My Little Garden.
This is a project for children who live in Gobabis from 10 to 14 years old.
In this video we are going to show you how you can create your own square meter garden out of a pallet.
We're also going to show you the whole process we went through to design the best square meter garden out of a pallet.
In the beginning, we had to make some assignments to get into the project. First, we had to know where Gobabis is located and what climate Gobabis had, so that we knew what vegetables could grow in Gobabis.
We found out that Gobabis is in Namibia, in Africa, and that it has a steppe climate. Gobabis is vegetated mostly with short and scrubby plants. The summers are hot and the winters are cool. The annual precipitation is 370 millimeters. We also found out that half the population of Gobabis lives in slums, in little self-made huts. Many children go to school for only a short time, or they don't go to school at all.
To find out more about Gobabis, we tried to find contact with inhabitants of Gobabis, which was quite difficult. We messaged people using Facebook, but no one replied. Finally, we emailed a lady living in Gobabis who was prepared to answer our questions.
We made a questionnaire and she answered it. We asked her about food, fertile soil, climate and employment.
We've also tried getting in contact with children around our age, but that didn't work.
After finding as much information as possible about Gobabis, we had to decide what plants we would want to grow in our square meter garden, and we had to do research for breeding methods. We started by planting garden cress in a mini greenhouse.
First, we tried growing garden cress on normal soil. The garden cress grew fast.
Then we tried growing herbs on rock wool. We divided the mini greenhouse in two. One half we sowed our seeds on soil, and the other half we sowed our seeds on rock wool. But almost nothing grew on the rock wool, so we decided to not use rock wool but regular soil.
After experimenting with the rock wool and soil, we had to decide what plants we wanted to grow in our little garden. We chose tomatoes, radish, arugula, and yard-long beans. Why did we choose these plants? We chose tomatoes because they can grow almost anywhere, and they are quite drought-resistant. We also chose them because we wanted to do some vertical planting in our garden, and tomatoes can grow upward on a stick. Plus, they're very tasty and can be used in lots of dishes.
We've chosen yard-long beans because they belong to the family of legumes, and legumes are relatively easy to grow, plus they have a nitrogen fixation bacteria. This means they add nitrogen bacteria to the soil. Tomato plants use up quite a lot of nitrogen, so yard-long beans and tomatoes are a perfect combination, and also yard-long beans can grow vertically.
We've chosen radishes because we're planning to grow our tomatoes and yard-long beans diagonally upwards on sticks, so we need to plant something under them that doesn't grow up high or take up much space. Radishes don't need very deep soil and they grow quite fast. They're ready to be harvested after 1 or 2 months. And last but not least, arugula. We've chosen arugula because just like radishes, it does not grow up high, so it won't reach the tomatoes and the yard-long beans growing upwards diagonally. Arugula is also known as rocket salad because it grows very fast. The seeds, flowers and leaves are all edible. Arugula also is drought resistant and doesn't need a lot of water.
Then we had to start designing a movable square meter garden out of a pallet. We did research on the internet to find inspiration how to turn a pallet into a square meter garden. There were some lovely ideas, but of course we couldn't just copy an idea. We had to design something ourselves.
We decided to do something with vertical planting because it saves space in the garden, so we designed a garden with poles on which tomato plants and yard-long beans can grow. In the end, we decided to put poles vertically against each other.
Altogether, we used these materials: a pallet, a hammer, nails, garbage bags, duct tape, seeds for tomatoes, arugula, yard-long beans, and radishes, soil, poles, an extra plank, other little planks to cover some gaps, water, and material for skis.
First, we removed the 3 planks on top by taking out the nails. We attached 2 of them to the bottom, putting them horizontally to create a firm base. Then we attached the 3rd plank plus an extra plank on the sides of the pallet where there were open spaces. Then we attached garbage bags to the inside, to keep the soil in. We did this with nails, but nails can tear the plastic, so it might be better to only use duct tape. We put duct tape on the edges to be sure that the plastic would stay in its place.
Because it was one of the requirements of the project, we had to make our garden movable. The most obvious solution was putting wheels on the bottom. Later we came up with another solution, putting a sort of sled on the bottom. This is probably cheaper than wheels.
The next step was putting in the soil. So we put in the soil, filling the garden all the way up to the edge. Then we placed poles in the soil. You don't have to use poles. You could also use bamboo or other sticks. We used 7 poles in total, 6 sticking in the soil and 1 on top to keep the poles together.
Clay pot irrigation. All you have to do is put an unglazed pot filled with water in the soil, with the mouth just above the surface. When the soil is dry, suction develops and water is slowly sucked from the inside of the pot to the soil around it. If the soil is wet, there is no moisture tension and no water will be released. This whole system works automatically. Make sure to cover the pot with a lid or a stone so the water won't evaporate. Because the soil in your garden probably isn't very deep, you'll have to use more and smaller pots. Refill the pots when they're empty. Wine bottle watering. Fill an empty, clean wine bottle or any other bottle with water. Quickly turn over the bottle and push it in the soil, making sure the neck of the bottle is pushed in the soil far enough to keep it from falling. The water will seep into the soil very slowly. Refill the wine bottle when it's empty.
We're going to... You're doing a project. Thank you for watching our video. We hope to have inspired you. We'd love to hear if you've also made your own garden. Feel free to comment below our video. Bye bye!